What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's project, a Toyota Prius. A very wide-body Toyota Prius, just judging by that front fender there, looking pretty awesome. The whole goal of this one today is it is time to sail. Very close to time to say goodbye to our beautiful speederboard. With the drag racing DLC coming out, we are going to have to change the metric of how this works. Because, well, we're going to have a dedicated start-finish line. We're going to have top speed measured, time measured, all of that. So we're going to have to change the metrics on here. The speederboard is going to change up a little bit. It's going to say roughly the same, but it's going to change some new details added onto there and things like that. But all of these are going to be null and void because they're going to be on the old times. Maybe I will keep this board somewhere as like a top 10 memorabilia. Keep it stored somewhere we can display it. I don't know, maybe up on one of these parts up here. Something like that, we could get it in there as a memory of when we used to do the old speederboard, but it's going to be replaced with a new speederboard, which means we have to start again. What a shame. It means I'm going to have to build all of these over again. I mean, some of these I've still got. I've got one of them. Definitely still got that. I've got Delilah. What else have we got? I'm not sure if I've actually got anything else on there in the garage itself, but it is looking awesome. Anyway, back onto this little Toyota Prius. It isn't a standard Prius by any shot. This one that does have a V8 supercharged engine in there, ready to go. 880 factory horsepower on that one. Pretty insane. Plus, we're going to be adding performance parts to it. Now, according to Payne, who did mod this one in, this could beat the McLaren F1 with the right setup. So hopefully we're going to be able to do that today. It's going to be a bit of fun, a bit of experiment. Even if we could get it second, I'd be very impressed. But we are aiming to knock the McLaren F1 off of the speederboard. We've got a couple of episodes to go to do that. So we're going to try and do a couple of really fast builds in the meantime to see if we can achieve that goal. Now, this is the Time Attack one, 121,000 just over kilometers on there. Got it from the auction house, the absolutely awful one. It is in terrible, terrible condition and needs a lot of work. Frame is only at 12%. Definitely not the lowest we've seen, but quite low nonetheless. Did we get a good deal? Absolutely not, because it's me. 27,270 is what we paid for it, and I could sell it for 23,984, losing out on 3,286 before we even start, which is always a bad sign. But if we can get it on the speederboard, especially if we can get it number one on the speederboard, I'm sure we'll be able to make a profit from this beautiful little Toyota Prius and its V8 supercharged engine, which is going to look insane. There she is, all stuffed in there, looking pretty complete, actually, considering we got it from the terrible, terrible auction house. In fact, the whole lot looks pretty complete. I do believe we've got everything there. We will obviously come back to that one in a minute. Obviously, we don't really see the engine that much, but as you can see, nothing needs to be added on there, so that's looking all complete. That's a good start, but we need to get this one over to the car wash, so let's get started. Let's get this little Prius cleaned up. Here we are then at the car wash. Let's get this little Prius all cleaned, get rid of all that dust and the grime off of there. Hopefully looking better. Not that much has changed, but we do have a bright green fender. I don't know what's going on with there. The rest of the car still needs a lot of work. It is in very, very bad condition. But let's get the interior done, get that supercharged V8 ripped out of there, and get everything else stripped down. Prius up in the air. Let's check for that oil pan. We're pretty sure it's there. It is there. So let's get that all drained out. Hopefully not looking too bad. There we go. Very dark. As you can see, I've moved my Dream Mustang inside. I didn't want it outside in the cold anymore. Hopefully we can find a better place for that eventually. But let's move on back to the Prius. That's that all drained. So let's get underneath. We need to get out, first of all, this drive shaft, which connects there. But it looks like it went really far into the gearbox, but that is what it is. Never mind. Off we come with you. There you go. We've got the starter. That's fantastic news. And then the gearbox in here as well. Out you come with only the one rusty bolt. Considering this is in very bad condition, I'm a bit shocked by that. We'll get these front exhaust sections out as well. Out you come, out you come. And we can't take that out until a bit later. Hopefully none of that's collected, and that will let us rip the engine out. So let's get it down on the ground and give that a go. Over we go to the crane. Let's get you moved over, and let's open that and get you out. Hopefully, fingers crossed. That's all right then. That came out nice and easy. Over you go. What have we got inside this engine bay then? So to start with, we've got a lovely air filter there. We've got the radiator with the fan housing kit, a wishy-washy reservoir, coolant reservoir, a fuse box. Let's just get the lid off of that one so we can see. There we go. We've got the ABS module and the pump there, plus a brake servo and an ECU up here. There we go, to keep that one going nice and strong. That looks to be everything, nothing missing. Doesn't look like it up here. Let's just jump down the back and get rid of that. Let's jump down the back. I can't get down the back. It's too far. There we go. Onto the wheel, onto the pump. I can't. Oh, yes, because I changed part mode, didn't I? Out with the pump there, and then out with that battery while we're down here. Remember to throw that one on charge later. Back up to the front we go. Let's drain some liquids. Additional tools, drain tool. Click and hold on the container, and I'll be back in just a moment. That's all the liquids drained. Let's get some of this stuff ripped out. I'm going to start with the air filter cover. It is a bolt-on one. I'm not sure how this one paints. I can't really remember, so we'll play with that one a little bit later on. Out with the wishy-washy, out with the coolant, and out with the brake servo. I will come back to the fuse box later. But we'll get this ABS pumper module out. Out you come, nice and easy. Just the one rusty bolt again. This is going quite well. I've probably jinxed it now, but there we go. Out with the fan housing kit and out with that radiator. Let's get the first wheel off. 2 rusty bolts on this one. They are starting to get more and more. Out we come and off we come there. There we go. Already got slicks on it, so they'll probably be going back on pretty much the same size that they were. So let's see. We've got the hub bearing. We've got the drive axle. We've got the sway bar end link. Both the rubber bushings. I couldn't quite see them there. The inner and outer tie rod. And it's a double wishbone, and they're both there with the shock. That's a good start. All of that's looking complete. Wheels are on, so we're pretty confident. That's got the inner and outer tie. It's got the sway bar end link, sorry. It's got both the bushings, and it's got the inner and outer tie rod, drive axle, and a bearing there as well. Fantastic. Let's jump down the back and see what we got going on down there. One of these wheels off. Managed to find one with no rust on it. That's what I like to see. And what have we got down here? Disc brakes. We've got all of the arms, it looks like. Yeah, they're all there. Rubber bushing, rubber bushing, rubber bushing. Drive axle, sway bar end link. The spring setup and the shock there. That's all looking complete as well. Fantastic. And on the other side, rubber bushing, spring, shock. Sway bar end link, drive axle. That's looking all there as well. Considering how bad this car was, condition-wise, or is, it's all there. I am quite surprised by that. And I just realised we forgot the ECU. So let's rip you out there. Very surprised by that. But anyway, I'm going to get all of this stripped out, the engine stripped down, and we'll come back and sort out the bodywork on this lovely wide-bodied Toyota Prius. That's everything mechanical on the Prius sorted, ready to go back on, repaired, replaced, upgraded, all that jazz. Time to sort out this bodywork, so let's just start tearing it down. Off you come, and off you come. Anything else around here? Doesn't look like it. No window in that side. We get that trunk, out you go. And then a window on this side. I believe that's it. I don't know. Any of this part actually interior, or is that rear bench the frame? That rear bench is the frame. Have we got everything? That was quick, nice and easy. 1% on there. Nothing showing on there. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, before we jump off, frame's at 12%, and I paid $27,270 for it. What do we reckon it's going to cost to repair the frame? I'm going to say $950. 900. That was not far off. Very close on that one. Let's get that going. Let's jump in and check out the Prius's body shop. All in weird places. So we've got lots of different bumpers to play around with. We have done this one before, but look at them all. There is loads to play with. A few different front fenders there. We will definitely be sticking with whichever is the wide body. I think it's the World Time Challenge, Time Attack Challenge. So that's the parts we're going to be going for. We can change a few parts, but we will be keeping most of it that basis. So we've got windows. We've got fenders for the other side, obviously. A couple of different hoods, carbon fiber, so things like that. Different window options, black housing in the lights there. That looks pretty cool, actually. Maybe we will go for that. A couple of different mirror options. Again, black housing on the rear lights. A few different rear bumpers. We'll be going the World Time Attack Challenge one, obviously. I think that's the only one that's wide body. Maybe we shall see. A few other options. We've got Rocket Bunny doors there. And then, obviously, the GT Auto. Some side skirts on there. I'm assuming what we need is these ones here. Yes, Time Attack Challenge fenders. There we go, both of them on there. Again, a couple of different doors. I'm not sure if we need a specific door or not. We'll find that one out in a bit, as there isn't much on this body anyway. Then we've got a few different trunk options, black badging, so on and so forth, and some spoiler options attached to the rear window. That's the one we're going to be going with there, that one on there. And we've already got the window banner windscreen, or we did have the window banner windscreen, so we'll probably be going with that one. So that's all of that. I'm going to get this all sorted, repaired, upgraded, put on, ready to go. Hopefully it's going to look pretty awesome. I'll be back in just a little while. Let's get this Prius all back together, looking awesome. Wide body kit galore. We've got the GT Auto hood there. I just quite like the vents and the scoops in it. For the front bumper, we obviously went with the Time Attack Challenge, but I stuck to the black badge one. We took the black housing lights because I think they just look a little bit cooler. And then obviously the fenders at the front there are both them Time Attack fenders, looking sweet. Windshield, in you go, the one with the banner, and it blacks out these sort of side windows here. So I've also blacked out these side windows at the back. The front door is just the front door, and the rear door, that's not the rear door. We'll go up a little bit. The rear door, I stuck with the normal rear door. I didn't know if the other two might bend through the wide body kit or not. So get the wide body kit on. That Time Attack Challenge one there, looking sweet. We have obviously got the windows, just normal windows to go in there. Could have picked like the racing cutout window on there, just but thought, nah, we'll just leave it as it is. Rear bumper, Time Attack Challenge, obviously. Trunk is the black badge to match the front there. Black housing and the tail lights as well. On we go. And then obviously, as you can see, that rear window is that massive wang for the Time Attack Challenge there. Time Attack, massive wang. Time Attack Challenge, massive wing. There we go. On we go. Let's move on over. Let's get the other side all completed as well. I know something I did forget. Any of you notice it? Let me know in the comments below if you've noticed something I've missed. Let's keep going around. All of that. Let's get this wing mirror on and go and get the wing mirror I missed on the other side on as well. There we go. Now, the rear seats are part of the frame, so we can't change them, sadly. But we can change the front seat. So for the front seat, obviously my Nismo racing seat there and the steering wheel 8. Because I think it looks quite racy. Maybe a bit too high up, though. Should drop that one down a little bit. Just a little bit to make it a bit more reasonable. But that should be it. Let's just have a double check. That's not the correct screen. 100%. Fantastic. Let's get this one over to the paint shop and pick one of the awesome liveries that we have already checked out for this one once before. But let's see what we're going to go with today. Here we are in the paint shop with a beautiful wide-body Toyota Prius, the Time Attack Challenge edition. Looking insane. Let's check out the liveries. These are all by French Toast, as per normal. Absolutely fantastic. First slot, we've got the Castrol one. This is the one we built when we first did a Toyota Prius. We just did a standard one, or a relatively standard one at least anyway. So we're definitely not going to be using that again. What else have we got in here, though? These are all Toyota liveries. Famous Toyota liveries. Here we go. This is a Fast and Furious one. Looking insane. Actually, I think this is probably going to be the one that we go for. Maybe. Let's have a look. What else have we got in here? We've got the Kyle Busch number 18 NASCAR M&M livery. That's looking pretty sweet with the steel plating going on around there. Looking cool. I like that one. I don't know what we'd colour match to this one, though. It's a bit colourful. I do like them colourful, but I think we'd probably just end up going black and yellow if we did this. And, well, yeah, I think I've got another build in mind for black and yellow, so we'll come back to that maybe. Slot number 4, we've got the... That's nice. This is nice. I like that. Don't think we're going to go for it, though. This is the Gran Turismo one, but ours isn't a hybrid. It's just a straight-up V8, so we're not going to go for that one. Are there any more? There are not. So I reckon we're going to go for this lovely Fast and Furious one. Now, I don't know who was the first person to pick this specific Toyota Supra livery on a Toyota Prius, but I know Hoovy's Garage, or Tyler Hoover, Hoovy's from Hoovy's Garage, did it once. The dumbest automotive channel on all of YouTube, although I think I'm giving him a bit of a run for his money, although mine's not really automotive, mine's gaming. So there we go. But that is looking sweet. That is what we're going to go for today. Let's get that one on there. On we go. Oh, we're doing a base of white. I don't want a base of white. Let's come back, because that'll pick the engine bay white. Oh, do we want the engine bay? No. Black. We want the engine bay black. So let's go for that again. And then we'll double check that that does actually do the engine bay black. Shall we see? Let's have a look. Open we come. That is the engine bay black. Awesome. That means we can use oranges. We can use a bit of this green in there as well. And even a splash of white if we wanted. But we do also have black. There's a lot of black under there. We can work with a little bit of black. So that'll be quite cool. So I think the engine is going to be probably predominantly orange with maybe a splash of green and a little bit of this sort of silvery off-white. No, actually, we're not going to do the silvery off-white. We're going to do orange, black, and maybe a splash of green on there. That should look pretty cool, and possibly the same for the suspension. A few chrome parts maybe on this one. I'm not 100% sure. It's time for me to have a play around with, see what I like, see what comes out looking awesome, and I will meet you all back on the lifter in just a few moments when we get all of this start going back together, starting with the beautiful suspension. That's everything painted, ready to go back on the beautiful Fast and Furious liveried Prius. Let's get these shocks together. We've got some metallic-y orangey shocks with some green springs, and then the same on the shock cap for the metallic orange. Looking pretty sweet. Quite pleased with them. And let's get them on the car and see how this looks together with the rest of it. So we have got the cross member in that metallic orange, looking pretty sweet. We've also got a front diff also in that same orange there. The sway bar and the steering rack both in a black, looking fantastic. Really like how that looks. And then we've got the front steering knuckle in that metallic orange, and then the tie rod in the orange, and the outer tie rod in a black there, looking pretty sweet. Bottom suspension arm and the upper suspension arm both in a black to sort of coincide with the rest of the colours going on there. Looking pretty cool. And then you've seen that front shock in its orange and green. I think it looks pretty sweet and goes with the livery, so we'll get you on there looking pretty cool. Sway bar end link also in an orange. And while we're here, we'll get these rubber bushings in so that we don't forget them a little bit later on. Down we go, in we go to there. Then we've got the front axle knuckle cover. That is in a black, and then the wheel hub itself in that metallic orange. And let's get the bearing in there, and then we can get the drive axle in, which is in a black into, so it goes orange, black, and then down in there we've got the orange of the front diff there. Looking cool. Let's get the brake on we go. Brake pads, and then I've gone for a chrome green brake caliper. Hopefully we'll be able to see them through the wheels that we put on later. Probably won't be using the wheels that are currently on it. Go for something a little bit different. That's looking pretty sweet, but let's jump down the back and see what we've got going on down there. So the rear cross member is in that metallic orange, same as the front one, and the sway bar is also in a black, same as the front one. Just drop the bushings in again. There we go, and there we go. Looking good. So knuckle, that is in a metallic orange, and then I'm going to do the wheel hub knuckle housing, it should be called. I don't know why it's still called a wheel hub, because the next part is also a wheel hub. In a black there, and then the rear wheel hub itself in another metallic orange. Looking pretty sweet. On you go, in you go. Let's move on around and get all of these arms in. These are all in black. Looking pretty great. Well, most of them are in black anyway. All the ones connecting from the central piece to the knuckle are in black there. Looking good. Around we go and get the last one in. On you. Missed. On you go there. There we go. And then the last arm itself is also in the metallic orange. Just sticking out the side there, making it look pretty sweet. Let's just get you in there. Awesome. Shock is in that orange, matching the front shock there. Very metallic-y, very shiny. And then we got the spring cap in an orange with the spring in a green. There we go. And then the cap itself in another orange there. So rear sway bar end link also in an orange. And then the rear drive axle is in a black, matching the front one. Looking pretty good. Let's just get the rest of this all together. On we go. There we go. And on we go there with the chrome green brake caliper. Again, hopefully we'll be able to see them through the wheels, the rims that we put on a bit later on. Up we go. Let's get this fuel tank in. You are in a black, and then the fuel pump is in a sort of coloured orange. I didn't want to do it metallic because I thought that would have looked a bit silly on that piece, but looking pretty good there. Let's throw some of the exhaust in. There we go. There we go. These are all just chromed out, looking absolutely fantastic. I was tempted to do them black, and I'll show you the reason why I didn't in just a second. I think we'll leave it there. I'll leave them pieces for after we've dropped the engine in. Now, the exhaust officially ends here, but you do have exhaust tips on the rear there, and they are very, very chrome. So I wanted the rest of the exhaust to match that. It's a shame they don't quite reach all the way, but it's something we have to deal with when making cars in the config, in the car editor, sorry, because sometimes there's just certain things you can't do. Anyway, I'm going to get on and get the rest of this all finished. Then we'll get the engine bay sorted before we go and build that beautiful supercharged V8. Ready to see if this can knock the McLaren F1 off the #1 spot on the speederboard. Looking incredibly metallic under here with the oranges, the blacks, and the splashes of green. Just on the springs and on the brake calipers there for the green. Looking pretty sweet. I'm quite pleased with that. Very pleased with that, actually. I think it looks pretty good. Does it look good compared to the body, though? It's definitely a totally different colour, but I wasn't aiming to match it to the body as such. Just keep components from there in it. So I'm quite pleased with that. I don't know why I jumped back in there, because we need to go back into the engine bay and sort this area out before we go and build that beautiful engine. So let's just start throwing some bits in here. In fact, I'm going to try and shove that battery in. I did remember to pick it up off charge now. There we go. In you go. And let's head back up to the front if I can get there. There we go. Coolant reservoir, in you go. And the wishy-washy reservoir, in you go there. We've got the brake servo. Now, this is the only... It can be coloured, but I just never do because it never looks right. Because it also colours the liquid, the container, and everything. It's a bit of a funny one, that, but it looks good as it is. So we'll move on. ABS pump is in that metallic orange, and so is the module. On we go there, looking good. Quite pleased with them. On you go. If we jump up here, we've got the fuse box base. Now, this is one of the only pieces that isn't fully metallic. This is just in a plastic piece. I could have made it look metallic, just leveled up to level 65. Thank you very much, game. But I thought it'd be better in a bit of a matte color, closer to the body there. The air filter base, now this one does not accept color very nicely. So what do? We chromed it out. Might look a little silly, but hopefully next to the engine, it will look, you know, like it fits sort of thing. As I say, this is the only bit in here that is really a sort of like a normal finish. The rest of it is all a bit metallic-y. Radiator is in that metallic orange, looking good. And then the fan housing kit in black with the fans in that chrome orange. They're looking pretty sweet. Quite like them. Maybe we should have done them in the green. Don't know. I like it in the orange. We will leave it at that. That's it for the engine bay, pretty much sorted. I'm just going to do the fuse box, and then we'll go and build that supercharged V8. It's going to be pretty insane. Let's get this supercharged V8 all ready to go then. I've already done the block, the oil pan, all the clutch setup, and all the pistons in there underneath. We got the block in that metallic orange. It's very dark, quite hard to match it. And then this is the only other piece, well, one of the only other pieces that are in a normal-ish orange. The rest of it's looking pretty metallic, so let's go. Engine head, in you go, obviously in that orange. The inside is a normal-ish sort of colour, but the outside is a little bit metallic-y. Not as much as the engine block itself there, but still looking pretty good. Let's just get the other one on you go. Get you all bolted in, looking good. Nicely done. There we go. Now, I've obviously got the spark plugs, all of the camshafts to get in. The exhaust, we'll do that quickly. That is in chrome like the rest of the exhaust underneath. So let's just get you on there looking good. I'm going to get on and finish all of this. Cam gears, all of the spark plugs on the other side and stuff like that. And then we'll move on. That's all of that taken care of. Time for some timing belts. In you go, one on that side and one on the other side. And then we've got a big old timing cover also in that orange. This one is the same as the oil pan, as you can see there. Not overly metallic-y, but the rest of it pretty much is. So let's crack on. Alternator, you are in a black there, looking good. Same as the power steering pump over on this side. Just realised I forgot this exhaust manifold, so we'll throw you on very quickly. In you go there. Done. Nice and easy. All of the rollers are officially in black. Looking pretty sweet. It's very blacked out at the front there on that massively orange base. On we go. Let's just get you all in looking good. There we go. One more there. And there is another roller to go on a little bit later on. So let's get up to that. Water pump in the black, and then the water pump pulley also in black. I did originally try that as orange. I didn't like it, so we went back to black with it. Crankshaft pulley also in the black there. And we can't do anything else to the front until we've got everything else all finished pretty much. So let's snip round the back, throw the fuel filter in. You are in a metallic orange. The oil filter is in a green, because we do have a few splashes of that going on about. The supercharger intake manifold in the black in the center there, looking good. And then the supercharger itself in that metallic orange, looking absolutely fantastic. In we go. Fuel rails, they are in a black there, looking good. In you go, and in you go. And let's finish off this front end. We got some black belts. Another black belt there. Not karate or anything like that, just black belts. Belt tension is also in a black, and then we've got the last idle roller there, just in black, looking good. Last pieces to go then. So we've got the engine head covers in a green. It looks very dark there, but it's not that dark on the car. Quite a bright green, in all honesty. Down you go, in you go, in you go, in you go, and in you go. I'll get all of the ignition coils and the other engine head on ready to go, and I'll be back in just a second. That's all of that done. Just a couple of pieces left to go. People might be thinking the green is a bit weird. It probably is a little bit, but I'm hoping it's going to look good. Just a little splash of it. The coil covers are in that metallic orange, matching the supercharger there, looking pretty cool. On you go and on you go. And then the last piece is the throttle. I have done that one in a black, looking pretty good. I wanted to keep the little opening valves, whatever you want to call them, in the red, but sadly it wouldn't let me do it. It was either paint everything black or this little piece here black, or everything but that little piece there black, which is also a bit of black plastic. So that didn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. That's looking pretty sweet. Mostly orange, a lot of black, and then just a tiny splash of green with a little bit of chrome, looking sweet. I'll grab some pictures, then we'll get this one dropped into the Prius. Supercharged V8 going into a Prius. Yeah, I don't even know, but yes, I'll be back in just a moment. It's almost time to see if this can beat the McLaren F1 on the speederboard. 909 kilometers an hour, 565 miles an hour. I'm still not 100% sure myself, but let's get this dropped in the car. Ready to find out. Over we go. Not much left to go on this one, so let's get you in. I'm hoping this is going to look pretty good. Let's get you put away. Before we see it, we've obviously got the orange body with the green splashes on the livery there. Let's see. That's looking good. I like that. Just enough green, not too much, mostly in that metallic-y sort of chromy orange. That's looking fantastic. I am very, very pleased with that. You've also got a bit of the shocks poking up through, looking sweet. Let's get underneath, though. We've got a gearbox to go in, a drive shaft, and a starter. Over we go. Road boy, look at that, looking sweet. Let's get it in then. A few pieces left. On we go. Gearbox in a metallic orange. Not fully matched to the engine block, but it's very, very close. Obviously, we had to take into consideration a lot of other pieces, and the blocks aren't always the best for painting, regardless if you got the quality of life mod or not. Starter is in a black there, looking good. Let's throw the front exhaust pipes in, obviously just chromed out to match. Nicely done. And then the last piece is the drive shaft in a black there, looking nice. So you got orange, black, orange. Look at that. I love that. I think that looks fantastic. I'm going to get some wheels sorted out. They're probably going to be like a body coloured orange if I can, hopefully. And then we'll get this one outside in the sun before we find out if it can do the impossible and beats that McLaren F1. Here we are then, all finished with Payne's Toyota Prius. Looking lovely. I love that engine, the orange and green in there. Looking fantastic. A few chrome or metallic pieces. Just finishing it off. It really does look fantastic, though. The wide body is insane, and this beautiful livery by French Toast is absolutely special. It is just very wonderful. I really love that. So cool. It is the Fast and Furious livery for the Toyota Supra. All the liveries that come on this Prius are famous Toyota liveries throughout the years. So we went with this one today. Fast and Furious theme. It is a wide body, and theoretically, it should be very fast and also quite furious. So let's just jump in. Let's check out these rims. You can already see I've got the green lettering on the tyres there and orange rims. These rims here, they are 19-inch, much bigger than come on the standard. 355 width with a 25 profile and 130 ET to bring it all the way out in line with this body kit. All of the four wheels are all exactly the same size, which was pretty sweet. And we've obviously got them chrome green brake calipers really popping through there as well. That is what I like to see. I think my brakes are all going to be chrome from now on. I didn't do it on the last one. I wanted to test to see how it works, but chrome is definitely the way forward for the brake calipers. Looking fantastic. This is really a wonderful, wonderful build. I've really, really enjoyed this one today. Absolutely fantastic. Let's close this hood, though. Let's jump inside and see what this one sounds like. In we go. Now, this should be a hybrid car, but it's not. We've just stuffed a V8 in it. So let's get it started and see what it sounds like. Typical V8 grumble in this game, but let's give it some gas. Still sounding incredibly mean at the top end. These windows are very dark. I don't know what's happened there, but there we go. At least you can't see the phone box through it this time. One more time on the gas, then we'll take this one over to the dyno and see what power we've got today. Here it is then, on the dyno with the Toyota Prius Time Attack and a V8 supercharged engine with all the performance parts on it today. 880 factory horsepower. How much have we added? Let's have a look. That is a gain of 871 horsepower. Almost a brand new engine on top of there. 99%. Pretty good. Bringing our measured power up to 1,751. Can we get it to beat the McLaren F1? Let's take a look at the gearbox tuning setup for today. Here it is. A 2.5 ratio. 2.47 in first gear. 130k. Up to 999 in 7th gear. Will we get there, though? Let's head over to the track. Let's find out. Here we are then with the Fast and Furious Toyota Prius. Looking absolutely insane with that wide body. Absolutely beautiful. I am loving this one. But let's jump in and get it down the track and see if we can beat the McLaren. Let's go. Off we go. Not the best start, but not too bad at all. Still pretty good. Smash past 200, heading up towards 300 already. There it is. Wow, this is actually really quick. Are we going to beat the McLaren, though? 909 kilometers an hour from that one. We're coming towards 450, but the end of the runway is coming up fast. Can we get to 500? Oh, no. 496 kilometers an hour from the little Toyota Prius. Not quite as I was expecting, but still very, very fast. 496 kilometers an hour, not topping the speederboard, not by quite a long shot. Still a very fast car though. Top 15% in position 21st on the speederboard. Not too bad at all. Quite pleased with that, but not quite the speederboard topper I thought it was going to be, or was led to believe to be. I did go back through the comments on YouTube. It said the time attack one, but in my private messages with Payne, it did say the race one. So maybe I've done the wrong one. Who knows? But still, 496 kilometers an hour. This is an insane machine. Very, very quick indeed. But possibly the wrong one. Never mind, it was still awesome. I have very much enjoyed this. If you do want to play with the Toyota Prius, link is in the description below. All the liveries shown today come with it, along with this version and a couple of other versions of the Prius as well, including an electric one, obviously. But there we go. A lot of fun. I definitely really enjoyed this build. Didn't quite get where I wanted it to go. Not quite the send-off the speederboard was hoping for, but perhaps we've got another one coming. I'm not quite sure. The real question is, though, can we make a profit from this one? I love the green calipers through there. They look fantastic. Can we make a profit out of this one, though? I bought the car for $27,270 at the very beginning, losing out on $3,286. If you stuck around for long enough at the beginning, you would have seen that. But if you just jumped right to here, you'll be like, what the hell's going on? But there we go. We spent another $80,714 on this one, hitting our total spend at $107,984. Can we make a profit from this Widebody time attack Prius? Let's jump in. Let's find out. 121,000 kilometers on there. I did do quite a bit of testing with this one. It's not really evident in there, but it was quite a lot. It is now 100% complete, which is fantastic. And we did almost double the power of that engine to 1,751 horsepower. Very pleased with that, regardless of how it ended up. But can we make a profit from this one? Yes, we can. 153,870 from the Widebody time attack Prius. Love that. Take away 107,984. Leaves us with a profit of 45,886. Off you go, time attack Prius. Maybe we'll do the race one in the near future and compare it to the speederboard, even though we won't be using the speederboard anymore. What have we got up next? Well, I set a challenge for the speederboard contender, and our French Toast has come forward. This is the Batmobile. You definitely would have seen this before on this channel, but not this one. This is the speederboard crusher, specifically designed for me to absolutely demolish the speederboard we have today. Now, he is still working on this one. He's just put the base bit in so I can get started to get to this point in the video, which is pretty good. So, did I get a good deal? Absolutely not. 445,380 is what we paid for it, and we could only sell it for 432,341, losing out on 13,039 before we even start. But I'm pretty confident we'll be able to gain that back before the end of the video. I'm almost 100% confident we will be able to. The engine currently in it, I think it's going to stay in it, is the V12 M158, the turboed V12. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, French Toast. You know how much I love the turbo whistle. Currently, it's got 1,525 horsepower, but this may change before the next episode. He is still fiddling with it, fine-tuning, trying to make the speederboard crusher that this one is labeled to be. What a beautiful looking car. Lots of gold on it, lots of this diamond, platinum, whatever you want to call that. It looks absolutely fantastic. It is very, very beautiful. Can I get out? I thought I was stuck for a minute there. There we go. This one's hard to get into the engine. You have to go in through here. I obviously can't do it right now while it's up on the truck, because you can't even really officially sort of get going with this one. You can sort of a little bit, but not too much. But that's what we're going to be working on next. You have to tune in next time to see if this one can crush the McLaren off the speederboard before we move in to drag racing. Speaking of drag racing, the Drag Race DLC comes out on a Wednesday. Most of you are probably already aware of that. The issue for me is that I release my videos on Wednesday, which means I can't record and release one in the same day. It takes a lot longer than you possibly think to make this roughly half-an-hour video, but there we go. So I won't be doing a drag racing DLC video on Wednesday. That will have to wait till Friday. But what I do intend to do is put it out to you guys on Wednesday. We're going to build a proper drag build. some drag configs. If you know of any good drag configs, let me know in the comments below, because that's what we will be building next Wednesday, ready to go onto the drag strip when Friday comes around, once I make that video. So we'll get at that on the drag strip first thing on Friday's video, and then we'll jump in to the Friday's build, which will be one of the new cars that are coming with the drag racing DLC. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing, whatever, subscribing maybe, and leaving a comment. Let me know what you thought of today's build, and leave me a comment. Let me know which drag car you want us to build on Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.